All right, hello again. This is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you today, and I'm extending my New Year's wishes to you all. Um, Here's to a great 2024. Let's have a great 2025. Um, and just on that year-end closing note here, I do want to say that I really appreciate all the comments and the support and everything that has gone along with that. I think we learned a valuable lesson here, um, and that at the beginning of the year, the Calvin Furman suit, the Department of Corrections attacks, I would say, um, certainly that all those things, the Andrea Olmanson, all those things really had an effect here. And I think instead of putting all that out there, we kept much of it to ourselves. And once we did get it out there, the support that we got from you all, I think, was necessary in getting us to where we need to be, which is um, we're going to file some writs on some people. I think that's the bottom line. Never threaten, by the way, just do it. But this is not for them. This is for us. And the message to us here is I thank you um, for all your support because it has meant a lot. And I guess the best way I can put it is this. Even I, knowing what I knew going in there, fighting the fight that I was fighting, being on the side that I'm on, um, bought into the gaslighting, I would say, of Larissa Benitez Morgan, particularly about my behavior in there. And I wasn't really until I watched listened to the recordings with you all, that, it is easier to spot gaslighting in a group. That's what I'm saying, and I appreciate your help. Now, um, I may have done similar stuff on this before, and why is that a reason not to talk about it now? It's simply this: it's the end of the year here, and I've got a pretty good story that I can't tell you all, but I will basically put it in terms like this: I had a pretty, yeah, could have been a good case, could have maybe not been a good case, who knows? And I was against a local municipality. I mean, but everything that I do is against a local municipality. And the big difference here is we made, in that case, a video of um, my client's heartfelt feelings about what uh, he was going through, what they had subjected him to. And we sent that to the board, and we knew that board had viewed it because, we get feedback from the videos about who was watching it. So, um, and we knew that pretty much the entire board had viewed it. So, okay. So what happens? We negotiate. Okay. And all my client ever wanted from the beginning was to have the bad actor who's using the N word disciplined. I mean, I think he made no bones about it that his preference was the guy is terminated, but that's not even where we were at. We were just saying, hey, you got to follow your own rules here. Nothing, 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 nothing. So what do? They admit no wrongdoing of any kind, and they pay us a substantial amount of money to never talk about it or disclose it or reveal any of it ever again. And they are adamant on that point that as soon as that we can never, ever, ever talk about it, which is why I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about somebody else. Um, no, but seriously, why this is instructive here and why I can talk about what I can talk about is how this behavior, I've seen it so many times. So this really could be any local municipality. It really could be any local government body here that's run by a group of 5, 7, 9, whatever you call it, board members. And this is, I think, a very typical pattern that we see here. because I do believe that the board members who viewed the video were moved. Because who wouldn't be? And I assume that they took the advice of their attorneys, because who wouldn't? And I would say the moment that the check clears in these kind of cases, the moment that my clients deposit the check, what do? They walk the bad actor out the door. Is that better for the taxpayer? Is it better? Is it better for the municipality? What message does that send to the workers that are still there? I think people understand that you don't want to admit liability. Makes sense. People understand negotiating a settlement. You get certainty. That makes sense, right? Somebody says that they negotiate. That doesn't. There's a lot of things. I don't have to look at the negotiation before I know what to take out of it. They paid them $50,000. Well, I'd like to know what they're paying them $50,000 for. They paid them $5,000, 100. I mean, these. Do you see what I'm saying? Until you know, you don't really know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. You don't know. So that's kind of my question: is what are they afraid of? And if they're going to, in the end, say, "Hey, we're going to do exactly what you wanted anyway. We're just going to make you wait a year and a half, and you're going to leave the organization because you're dispirited, um, and we're going to, ultimately remove the bad actor, all at significant cost to the taxpayer, because I'm not free, their attorney's not free, and my clients, redressing these things in secret is not free." So that's my New Year's thought. We sort of, one of the things I do, if I hadn't told you, is at the end of the year we sort of count up how many big bad actors have resigned, and I can mention several public officials that we talked about here on this channel that are not running for reelection again. Was that because of us? Is that not? Who knows? Um, but it's just a strange and weird system here that it's an expensive system here that we go through all this pantomime only to do what, because ultimately it sounds like they did what was right. Maybe my clients shouldn't have to leave positions like that. No question about it. But it's the taxpayers who are paying, and who's benefiting? Is it the politician's reputation? What is it? I just, those are my big questions here. Um, what do you think is the psychological motivation for this denying here? Because remember, it's other people's money, either way you look at it. Yeah, in my mind, and we'll look at this one other way. You've heard us describe what we have been calling um, the Bob Peterson effect for years now. And remember, family friend, public school teacher, on Rethinking Schools board, public intellectual, goes and becomes a school board member and president, and then ultimately acts in lockstep, I would say, with the administration, which is not what you would expect. Okay, so that's sort of my question here. Is I guess I'm saying, I would have done something different. Well, that's what the Bob Peterson um, principle, I guess, is all about here. Is it's not named for Bob Peterson because he's an outstanding bad actor. It's named for Bob Peterson because Bob Peterson is better than you. He is. That's a fact. He's better than me. That's a fact. And if somebody who's got a higher moral character upbringing has done more work than you have, apparently works once they get into that position there. Who knows what forces exactly are working on you? Um, it's that effect here, but for the grace of somebody goes somebody, right? Well, if that's not a New Year's message to end on, if anything, how my rhetorical flourishes go. They end when I've said the cleverest thing that I think I'm going to say, not necessarily on January, uh, December 31st. You've got all your bands right in there. Happy New Year's, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll keep you informed.